He ruled the music industry for more than 3 decades. Untouchable, unchallenged, always 3 steps ahead. Sean Diddy Combs wasn't just a mogul. He was the architect of an empire. From the outside, everything about him screamed power. Multi-million-dollar businesses, chart-topping hits, celebrity connections, and an image so flawlessly polished it seemed bulletproof. But in a single courtroom on a single day, all of that began to unravel. The public saw the headlines, but what they didn't see was the moment it all changed, when a silent man in a tailored black suit walked into the courtroom, and Diddy's entire demeanor flipped. That man? 50 Cent. And in that moment, Diddy didn't just lose his cool. He lost control of the narrative, his power, and quite possibly his entire legacy. For years, people whispered about Diddy. There were rumors of shady business deals, abusive behavior behind closed doors, and parties that industry insiders refused to talk about. But none of it stuck. Why? Because Diddy didn't just control music, he controlled perception. He had a full-time PR team, image consultants, even a dedicated media coach to help him rehearse answers in front of a mirror. Every facial expression, every word, every gesture was planned. Former employees say he'd practice mock interviews for hours before public appearances. He spent millions on damage control and brand management. No matter what scandal came his way, Diddy knew how to spin it. He always emerged unscathed, smiling, suited, and unbothered. That was his superpower. Until now. In the days leading up to the trial, things started slipping. It was subtle at first. A video surfaced showing Diddy snapping at a fan outside his lawyer's office. Then came a tense press conference where he gripped the podium with white knuckles. For someone known for being smooth under pressure, these were red flags. Something was off. And then came the third day of the trial. It started like the others. Quiet tension, a crowded courtroom, a media frenzy buzzing outside. But halfway through the morning session, everything changed. The doors opened. A ripple moved through the courtroom. Witnesses say you could feel the energy shift before they even turned around. And then they saw him, 50 Cent, walking in with that slow, deliberate pace, dressed in a perfectly fitted black suit and his signature sunglasses. He didn't say a word. He didn't need to. Diddy saw him immediately. His reaction was instant. His eyes widened, his jaw locked, and his hands, which had been calmly folded just moments before, started to tremble. He looked down, then back up again. This wasn't a rival showing up. This was a statement, a message, a threat wrapped in silence. 50 and Diddy's rivalry spans nearly 2 decades. It's one of the music industry's most infamous feuds, filled with jabs, accusations, and buried secrets. 50 had never shied away from calling Diddy out, even publicly questioning Diddy's involvement in Biggie's death and mocking his sexuality in interviews and online posts. But this move wasn't just petty beef, it was a power play. 50 didn't show up for the headlines. He showed up to make a point. Diddy wasn't untouchable anymore, and then came the bombshell. The prosecution introduced a new piece of evidence, Item 47B. Diddy's defense team immediately objected. They hadn't seen it during discovery, but the judge overruled. The screens lit up. Security camera footage played, dated April 2018. The video showed Diddy and Cassie in a hallway of his Miami property. There was no audio, but the body language said everything. Diddy was pointing aggressively, shouting. Cassie looked cornered, and then it happened. Diddy grabbed her shoulders, shook her, and shoved her to the ground. The courtroom gasped. Just 24 hours earlier, Diddy had testified under oath, "I have never physically assaulted Cassie or any woman. There are no videos of such behavior because it never happened." That line? It was now a lie, and the evidence was on full display. Diddy's face twisted. He stood up so fast his chair tipped over. "That's not what happened," he shouted. His lawyer scrambled to pull him back down, whispering urgently in his ear. The judge slammed her gavel, warning Diddy that any further outbursts would lead to contempt charges. And that was just the beginning. The fallout came fast. Industry insiders started distancing themselves immediately. Within hours, Usher unfollowed Diddy on Instagram. Mary J. Blige did the same. Justin Bieber not only unfollowed him, but wiped their old photos together from his feed. These weren't coincidences. These were calculated moves. People were picking sides. Meanwhile, 50 Cent wasn't just observing, he was orchestrating. Outside the courtroom, he faced the press head-on. "This isn't about beef. It's about justice," he said, "and I'm putting my money behind it." He revealed that he was personally funding additional legal support for Cassie through the Unity Foundation. Quietly, behind the scenes, he'd already been in contact with her legal team. This wasn't trolling anymore. This was war. Online, he posted viral clips from the courtroom. One showed Diddy's meltdown. Another showed the surveillance footage. One post read, "Money can't hide who you are." It gained over 12 million views in under 24 hours. And then came the teaser for his Netflix docuseries, Music Industry Secrets. The implication? Diddy wouldn't be the only one exposed. Back in court, Cassie took the stand. She looked composed, confident, calm. She told the jury about a night in 2019 when she tried to end their relationship. She testified that Diddy threatened her career, told her he made her and could destroy her just as easily. Then she spoke about the party in the Hamptons, how he locked her in a bedroom for 2 days after he saw her talking to another music executive. As she spoke, Diddy unraveled further. His leg bounced wildly. He loosened his tie, then tightened it again. He whispered loudly to his attorney, over and over. Courtroom observers say a vein in his forehead became visible, his face red, his eyes wild. And then he snapped again. Standing to his feet, he pointed directly at Cassie. "That's all lies," he screamed. "You know what you did." The courtroom froze. Cassie didn't look at him. She took a sip of water and kept speaking. Diddy turned to 50 Cent, seated in the back. "And you'll regret getting involved in this." Security rushed forward. 2 officers stood between him and the witness stand, one behind his chair. The judge slammed her gavel again. "Mr. Combs, you will control yourself in my courtroom. One more outburst and I will hold you in contempt." Diddy's lawyer asked for a recess. Denied. The judge was done giving warnings. Cassie kept testifying. Calm, clear, unwavering. The power dynamic had officially shifted. Diddy, once the intimidating figure, was now the one being controlled by court officers. Cassie, once silent, now held the floor. The impact was immediate. Within 24 hours, 3 new witnesses came forward, a former security guard and 2 assistants with direct knowledge of Diddy's alleged behavior. They had refused to testify before, but after seeing his courtroom outburst, they felt safer. Diddy's team panicked. They filed a motion for mistrial, arguing that 50 Cent's presence created a biased environment. The judge rejected it within hours. "Mr. Combs's behavior is his responsibility," she ruled. The defense's original strategy to portray Diddy as a reasonable, misunderstood businessman was now impossible. So they changed course. Overnight, they began recasting him as emotional, passionate, flawed, but not dangerous. But the jury had already seen too much. Legal experts say his breakdown may have doomed the case. Jurors don't just listen, they watch. And what they saw was a man claiming innocence while losing control under pressure. A man who said none of it happened, while footage showed otherwise. A man who claimed to be calm and collected, screaming threats in a courtroom full of press and celebrities. And while Diddy struggled, 50 Cent kept applying pressure. 7 more social media posts in the next 48 hours, each more direct, each more brutal. One showed a split screen, Diddy in court next to the surveillance footage, with the caption, "Actions speak louder than lawyers." It gained millions of views. One message was clear: 50 wasn't done. Behind the scenes, the consequences were piling up. Diddy's media company lost major sponsors. His liquor brand deals were paused. His talent agency put his representation under review. Industry analysts estimated he could lose over $200 million in deals, regardless of the trial outcome. And yet, the most striking shift wasn't financial. It was cultural. The industry that once feared Diddy began turning its back. His calls ignored, his texts left unread. People who once posted birthday tributes were now deleting old photos. The silence around him wasn't just breaking, it was collapsing. Cassie, once afraid to speak, was now surrounded by support. Lady Gaga sent her flowers with a handwritten note. "I believe you." Cardi B went live saying, "We need to stop protecting abusers just because they're powerful." Others followed, the wall of silence that protected powerful men for decades, crumbling one post at a time. The industry is watching, so is the world. And with 50 Cent promising more revelations and an entire docuseries in the works, the Diddy trial isn't just a scandal. It's a reckoning, one that might finally expose the secrets the music industry has spent decades hiding. Because this case, it's no longer just about Diddy. It's about what happens when someone who thinks he's untouchable finally gets touched by the truth. And this time, there's no PR team that can spin it away.